Hello everybody, welcome back. YouTube.com/GeekLoud for another Let's Install. Today, it's Jedi Fallen Order, the PlayStation 5 version we want to download here, which you can see is 54 gigabytes for that download size, and I've gone ahead and purchased the deluxe upgrade. You yourself don't need to do it necessarily, however, if you are, we're going to go ahead and include it in today's install so we get the full and complete install for the upgrade, but, of course, we will also see the default Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And why, I hear you ask, are we doing it? It's because it's this month's PlayStation Plus monthly game. That's right, Jim Cryan's come through for us with a good one for a change. We have Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order native PS5 and PS4 copy. We've got Fallout 76, which I think went free to play, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. And then there's Axiom Verge 2. I'm a huge Axiom Verge 1 fan on the PS Vita. Unfortunately, RIP, my Vita died a long time ago, so I haven't gone hands-on with Axiom Verge 1 in a few years. However, I am super keen to check out Axiom Verge 2 with the arcade stick to see if we can get it to work on the PlayStation 5 with this one. I suspect that'll be an absolute gem upcoming. However, as I was saying, today's is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order because, that's right, it is included in January 2023's Merry New Year, if that's a thing. So, let's have a look here. Okay, the default base free included in this month's PSN monthly games for January 2023 is 47.232 gigabytes for the base game install. And then, if like me, you purchase the upgrade edition, that's under there. I'm going to go ahead and say it's about 5 gigs, but time will tell on that one. For now, let's install Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order native PlayStation 5 edition onto a PlayStation 5. And before I go, I'm going to quickly also remind you, Gaming Enforcement Agency is back for 2023 tomorrow night. That's right. It's not our Christmas special. It's a brand new episode. Come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m-ish, right here on Geek Loud for the return of the Gaming Enforcement Agency for 2023. What's Bully been up to? What's Unky Dunky been up to? I've got no idea. You'll find out when I do tomorrow night, live right here, Geek Loud. YouTube.com/GeekLoud, home of the Gaming Enforcement Agency. And with enough requests out there, we're going to turn it into an RSS feed. Maybe it'll appear in some other places, but I'm not sure about it. So please let me know in the comments below if you want to hear the Gaming Enforcement Agency turned into a podcast that lives outside of YouTube. I'm all ears, looking for feedback. Let me know if that sounds like something that would be for you. But for now, let's install Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, included in January 2023's PlayStation Plus monthly games. Woo! All right, everyone, just a little quick update there. As you've seen, we have fully downloaded, recently installed also, just Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Now, that is the January 2023 base free game. What you're seeing currently is just under 5 gigs, is 4.680 gigabytes of the deluxe upgrade edition also installing. And I've got to tell you, one of the real gems of the upgraded edition, it has, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to say it's an hour long. It's approximately an hour long. You know, it might be 45 minutes, might be an hour 15. Call it an hour long documentary making of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. You know, it's a deep dive into the Respawn development pipeline, how it got built behind the scenes. It's an absolutely fantastic watch. If you're a nerd who loves video games, I can't recommend enough checking out the documentary, the making of documentary, as one of the included things as the deluxe upgrade. It's an absolute gem and well worth a watch. But let's continue installing, shall we, the deluxe upgrade of 4.680 gigabytes right here, youtube.com/GeekAloud. All right, exciting times. Installed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Fallen Order Deluxe Upgrade Edition. How are we? Let's bounce on all the way out here. And, of course, we're going in native PlayStation 5 version. We'll launch it up. We will look at the main menu. We'll check out the visual options. What have we got there? If there's any accessibility options, what you need to see there. But also, as we've just seen, not included with the standard free PlayStation month upgrade edition. However, I've paid the extra money for the upgrade edition, and we'll also take a look into that menu there. Of course, I'm not going to show their making of documentary, but we will go through all the line items of the content that is included. And for me, an absolute video game nerd from way back, even just the price of admission for that documentary alone is worth it. It is so fantastic. I want to say there's also the soundtrack on there, but we'll have to, of course, boot it up, get into that menu, and confirm if the soundtrack is also included. I'm going to go out on a limb and say also I think there may have been an art book. I want to say there were 5 options, and I'm not sure what the others were. But the all-important, first up, options here. One thing I will point out, because I can't stand it, is photo mode. My thumbs are forever accidentally pressing L3 and R3 during gameplay, so it is essential that I have photo mode turned off. Nothing frustrates me more than the game constantly pausing, trying to get me to take a photo. Not going to happen. So, highly recommend leaving that one turned off. Auto switch target on enemy death. Visible enemies only. There's an interesting little bit in the behind the scenes documentary talking about that. I won't steal their thunder, but that's an interesting option. We've got disabling button mashes and quick time events. The old Earthman hands would appreciate that one. Once again, I don't turn these options on by default unless they get to me. But if the thumbs are triggered, I will absolutely come in here. So it's good to know what's in here that you can relieve yourself of if you need to. Disable UI input holds. Once again, big thumb helper. That one. Auto lock on target during combat just makes the game a little bit easier. Auto grip climbable walls. Now that one, if you've got young kids, I highly recommend turning that on. It may be on by default in story mode, I think. HUD text scale, depending on the size of your monitor. And of course, I always recommend turning the subtitles off, as I'm so easily distracted by things on screen like subtitles. But that's it for there. Now, visuals. You've got the option to turn off motion blur, which I recommend. You've got the option to turn off film grain, which I also recommend. Ceramic apparition, which is the lens flare. I love it. Leave it on. For me, camera shake, I leave it on. If you're susceptible to motion sickness, you might want to turn that one off. And the all-important performance mode, I should say. Reduce resolution to run at 60 frames a second. Absolutely essential, and I would argue the entire point of getting the PS5 version is for that 60 frames a second update. It is fantastic. Now, once again, in the behind-the-scenes documentary, there's an interesting argument made by the art department, the creatives behind the game, as to why you'd want motion blur and film grain on. However, I myself personally prefer them off, so that's exactly what I'll recommend for you here today. Audio options there, the standard fare, nothing worth really pointing out. Extras, share usage data. Personally, I like to turn that on because that lets the developers know, hey, this person, and it's not you specifically, it's in aggregate. Hey, everyone's failing at the end of level 2, or everyone's bouncing off after this second boss fight. It's, mass user testing after the fact, but that data then goes back into the game and makes it better. If they know everyone's struggling on the second boss in whatever game it is, because if you're sharing that usage data, they get that data back. They then know, okay, let's in a patch reduce the difficulty of that boss and get people a bit further through the game. So it's in your personal best interest to turn on that share usage data. I can't recommend that one enough, but that's it for the main base options. If you've just got the January free PlayStation Plus of the month, that's all you're looking at. However, if you've gone the extra hog, if you want to look at that bonus content, if you've paid the extra money yourself, there's the digital deluxe art book. There is Built by the Jedi, the making of the Jedi Fallen Order. Now that is the approximately hour-long doco that I'm halfway through, but I absolutely love. I'm enjoying it silly. I think it's fantastic. I haven't watched this yet. I assume it's another documentary of the cast and characters of Jedi Fallen Order. The music of Jedi Fallen Order, is it a documentary of how it was made, or is it the soundtrack? I'm not sure. A Jedi Fallen Order dev commentary, once again, I'm not sure, but I assume if you turn that on, it would be very much like, I think the first time they did it was in Half-Life 2, but if you have the developer commentary turned on as you're running through levels, they're not constantly talking to you like a podcast, but it is kind of like playing a game with the accompanying podcast by the developers. So the art department might chime in on a certain boss encounter, or you come onto a new vista, and the art department might chime in and say, hey, of note, look at the way the horizon meets here, or the color palette we've used there, that sort of stuff. So if you're into your podcast and like your gaming nostalgia, I would never recommend this for the first playthrough. Play the first playthrough without the dev commentary on. However, if you've got the time and the interest, turn on the dev commentary, go back for a second run at the game, and my God, there is some stuff you can learn in there. Just a new way to enjoy the game. Well worth it, in my humble opinion. All right, let's bounce on out now. Check out the particulars and wrap up the install for Jedi Fallen Order onto the PlayStation 5. Now, of note, of course, is, first up, it's version 1.003.000, and that is 51.97 gigabytes. However, note that does include the additional space for the Fallen Order Deluxe upgrade. So the additional space, or, subtract if you will, 4.68 gigabytes, and that will be the size for the free version of the month. Thank you very much for watching another Let's Install right here on Geek Aloud. Remember to come back tomorrow night, 8 p.m, Thursday nights, right here on Geek Aloud for the Gaming Enforcement Agency, our weekly video game podcast. It currently only exists on YouTube. Would you be interested in hearing it on, Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, if I didn't say them already? Do you want to hear them on the other podcast platforms? Please let me know. If there's interest, I'll do it, but otherwise I'm not going to bother. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Let's Install. What else can you do with Geek Aloud? Like it, subscribe it, you'll never miss it. Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's something. I love everything about it. Ooh.
Fire splash!
Old Uncle Donkey.
Chief Donkey.